What if you could figure out exactly what niches were most profitable with the lowest competition at any given time before you ever started posting products for sale? Then what if I told you that you could figure it out quickly for free, and that by using this method, you'd never run out of ideas or struggle to figure out exactly what to make and post next? This is the exact strategy that I've used to post mugs, t-shirts, posters, wall art, and all kinds of products. And each time that I post, I know that my products have the best chances of getting sales, whether it's with paid ads or organic traffic. And it helps me get sales on all of my products in less than half the time by taking out all the guesswork. The truth is that regardless of what product you're selling, the only thing that matters is the positioning and the design to get that product to sell. Most niches are oversaturated and too competitive to sell in. So in this video, I'm going to give you my exact 3-layer strategy for finding golden pocket niches that you can use to get sales today and into the future. The whole process is really simple. We just need to distill down what's already working for the product we're selling and then identify golden pocket niches to sell in. The way that we can do this is by looking at velocity, how well a particular niche performs over a short, recent period of time. For example, if a product was just posted 2 months ago and it's already getting great traction, it's a sign of great velocity and that niche is a good niche to sell in. But if a product has gotten a ton of sales, but it's been active for several years, then it's likely not as hot as it once was, and it could be a more saturated niche. The greater the velocity, the better your chances are of getting sales today and having that listing rank early on so that it continues to sell into the future. And by the way, this focuses towards Etsy print on demand because it's what I teach, but this product research method applies to any other sales channel that you might have. And now that you understand that, you have to understand what the objective actually is. With Etsy print on demand, the goal is not to have just one product that sells like crazy and makes you millions of dollars, but instead it's to have a catalog of products where each one sells occasionally. Of course, we want those best-selling listings, but everything sells in waves, and eventually even the best sellers will slow down over time. So we want an evergreen catalog that lasts for as long as we want to do business for. If you can get to the point where each listing you post makes you a few hundred or a few $1,000s in profit each year, then all you have to do is post more listings. That means that the goal is to have a proven system to post products for sale in these golden pocket niches so that each one will sell occasionally. That way, as we build up our shop, instead of having just one product that our entire business relies on, we can have a collection of products that all sell occasionally. I always say that it only takes one listing to really pop off and change your life forever. But it takes posting lots of listings before you post that bestseller. You're always just one listing away. But to actually get there, you need a strategy to post every listing in a niche with great trajectory so that it has the best odds of success. The way that you figure out what will sell is by looking at what other people are actively selling. You're not going to have this huge epiphany where you magically know what will work. It's simply by researching your competitors. Now, there's 3 levels of research that we can do to figure out what niches have the best velocity. The first is the shop level. We can find entire shops that have a good overall velocity. For example, if you come to Etsy and just search for the type of product that you're selling, you're going to get a huge list of results. Now, you'll notice that next to each listing, you'll see a little star with a number next to it, and that's how many overall reviews that shop has gotten. Now, typically, bigger shops are going to have more than 2,000 to 3,000 reviews, so we're only looking for that type of shop. Since you'll typically get 1 review for every 7 to 10 sales, we're only looking at shops with over 2,000 reviews to help filter out successful ones. We don't need to look at the tiny new shops that aren't working yet. Then when we finally find a listing that meets our criteria, we can click through it and we can actually come visit the shop and then scroll all the way down to the bottom to see when this shop started. So for example, this shop has done 14,000 sales and they just started last year in 2023. Now, if we compare that to a shop like this one, where they've done over 20,000 sales, but they opened their shop in 2010, you can see that this first one has a much higher velocity because they've made a lot more money in a much shorter amount of time. It'd be smarter to emulate what this shop is doing because even though they've made less overall sales, they've made more money in a shorter amount of time. It has a much higher velocity. So when we find a shop like this, we can follow it, or we can copy the address so that we can save it for later. Now, you can save these shops in a ton of different ways, but if you use Canva to make your designs, you can just create one of these whiteboards, and it's basically just a big empty whiteboard space where you can just paste the link to the shop in, If you give it a second to load, you can see that you have this nice little bookmark where you can quickly go back and visit the shop whenever you need inspiration. Of course, you can also use a shop research tool to quickly see more stats and details about particular shops, which can be super helpful because sometimes scrolling through all of the options can take a while. Now, the second level of niche research is at the listing level. We can find winning niches right inside a high velocity shop like this one. So all we have to do is come down to the bottom where they have their reviews section. And what we can do is filter these reviews out by most recent. Now, this is going to show us what customers are actively buying and reviewing like right now, this week, today. By looking at these most recent reviews and paying attention to the thumbnail and seeing which products customers are buying over and over, we'll be able to see which products are most likely their best sellers. Now, this one seems to be coming up fairly often, and just by reading the title, it looks like it's a hiking, explorer, camping niche shirt. So I can click on it and see how this listing is actually performing. We're mostly looking at how many total reviews this particular listing has gotten. Now, I can even take this a step further by filtering out this specific listing's reviews by the most recent, and then scrolling all the way back to the very first page. And you'll be able to see the date that this listing got its very first review. And that gives you an idea of how well this listing has been performing over time. Now, since clicking through all the reviews takes quite a while, you could also use a listing analyzer tool to speed up the process and see how many sales, how much revenue, and how a listing is performing over time. This particular listing got its first review about 9 months ago, so that should give you a rough idea of how well this particular niche is performing right now. Now, an important reminder here is that while we are looking for niche ideas, we're also looking for the type of mockups that are working on winning listings and design elements and everything that's helping this listing sell so well. Even things like the keywords that they're using in their titles. Now, the third and best level of research is looking at the listing to shop ratio. These are the hardest to find, but if you can find a single listing that's performing really well and generating the majority of a shop's sales, it can be a sign of an extremely profitable niche opportunity. So for example, this listing has generated more than half of the total reviews for this entire shop, meaning it's clearly an outlier and a top performer. Now, I wish there was a clear way to find these type of listings, but it's just the more you look at high velocity shops and high velocity listings, the closer you'll get to finding outliers like this one. Then again, when you find a winning listing like this one that people are actively buying and leaving reviews on every single day, you want to save it. So you can copy the listing link and you can go into your dashboard and you can paste the link in and save it for later with a nice little thumbnail so that you never run out of ideas. Because remember, not only is this a golden niche opportunity to sell products in, but you can also take inspiration from the mockup, the design, and every element that's making this listing perform so well. Now, I also wanted to leave you with a bonus that I talk about in my course, the 6-figure storefront, which is identifying templates. The best thing you can do when you're searching for niches to sell in during this process is keeping an eye out for golden pocket niches with template designs. For example, if we know that this is a high velocity listing and it's inside a high velocity shop, then we can take this type of design and use it as a template for inspiration for different types of designs. Meaning that I could take this design and switch this out for yoga instructor or something like that, change the definition and the graphic, and have a completely new product based on what's already working. But if you want to learn more about designing and print on demand in general, you can check out this video next, and I'll see you over there.